This video is proudly sponsored by Gamersgate. Download games anytime, anywhere. Visit Gamersgate.com.
The online competitive multiplayer realm has grown quite homogenous lately. First-person shooters, online battle arenas, and real-time strategy games dominate the market. But what the video game world has been in a staggering short supply of has been third-person melee combat, particularly set in the medieval era. Those of us who consider ourselves to be recovering Mount and Blade addicts know that it can be done, and done correctly. But even Mount and Blade lacks the tiered unlock system and cutting-edge graphics of most modern multiplayer games. But, as of October 2012, we gamers looking for a medieval melee outlet can now find it in Fatshark and Paradox Interactive's War of the Roses. Grab your sword, shield, horse, bow, arrows, or any other arms you can find, gamers, and head to the battlefields. It's time to test your mettle. Supporting up to 64 players per map, War of the Roses pits gamers head-to-head with one another in the struggle between the Lancasters and the Yorks. Players can choose from one of 4 pre-made classes like the Knights, Men-at-Arms, Longbowmen, and Crossbowmen. Dealing damage, capturing objective points, healing teammates, or brutally executing your heathenous enemies fills your digital coffers with experience coins that can be used to unlock custom classes. Once the custom classes are unlocked, players can then spend their currency on different weapons, armor, horses, perks, and of course, skin and appearance customizations. But the combat isn't as simple as point-and-click enemy until death. There is some real depth and panache to War of the Roses. Gamers familiar with the Mount and Blade series will be somewhat at home with War of the Roses' combat system. What may appear as a matter of left mouse button to swing, right mouse button to block is actually much more complex. Left mouse button swings, but the direction of the swing is managed by the direction of the mouse. Force of the swing is determined by the length of the windup and the speed of the player. Of course, damage is determined by crushing versus cutting damage on an opening in the enemy's armor or grazing off their shield. Blocking is done in a similar fashion, by pointing in the direction of the incoming attack. By unlocking perks and new weapons, players can experiment with the different ways of dispatching their foes. Some weapons, like two-handed axes and spears, control completely differently than single-handed swords. They only deal damage from the tip. Archery is an art of its own. Different bows, crossbows, and arrows deal various amounts of damage. All the while, the player needs to take account for target speed, distance, strength of pull, and arrow drop. For a budget-priced game, War of the Roses sports some impressive graphics. Each of the 7 historically inspired battlefields are not only well balanced, but they're beautifully decorated with farmhouses, rivers, forests, castles, and detritus from previous battles. They also sport some beautiful weather effects like rain, fog, and smoky hell from a city in flames. The weapons and armor are also gorgeous to behold. Each set of armor, from light to heavy, shows an incredible amount of detail within the weaving of the cloth and the chinks in the armor. It almost goes without saying that all the weapons are given the same creator's touch. But as much as we love War of the Roses, it's not without its ugly side. Because of the precise hit detection models, the learning curve is steeper than most online games and may be an outright turnoff to new gamers. On the flip side to that coin, almost all kills within the game are based on the skill honed within War of the Roses, and not simply because someone had a better weapon. At launch, the servers didn't seem to hold the sheer mass of players stressing the hull. Some game crashes came mid-match, either due to server overload or fluctuations with Steam. In time, we anticipate this issue to be hammered out. And we did encounter a few video errors along the way, but they were easily resolved with a simple game restart. Finally, as beautiful as the armor is, we would have loved to see more options in the medium and the heavy armor category. In the end, we can easily say War of the Roses is worth buying if you're looking for a melee combat multiplayer game. Certainly there are some balance issues and a few glitches that need to be stomped out, but those come with all multiplayer games. We loved the precision of the combat, the necessity to play as a team, the beauty of the environments and the weaponry, and there's no other feeling like defeating another player in a real-time battlefield joust. On a closing side note, we're happy to see War of the Roses wasn't simply cranked out into a free-to-play business model. The tiered unlock structure feels perfect the way it is. If you think you've got what it takes to put down your sniper rifles and grenade launchers and pick up a sword, shield, and lance, then we'll gladly meet you face to face on the battlefield.